Welcome and thanks for joining us today. My name is Bruce Berg and I'm here today to introduce and recommend a candidate-driven reference checking system, and this system is called Reflynk, R-E-F-L-Y-N-K. To those of you who do not know me, I'm the owner of Berg Consulting Group, which is a consulting practice dedicated since 2018, almost going on 19 years now, dedicated to helping background screening owners, executives, sales, and operations staff achieve their goals by providing growth products and providing advice and cost-cutting solutions, some operations tools, and of course our well-known M&A services. As you may know, in addition to our leadership in doing those M&A services and our general consulting services to the screening industry, we also have worked with several exemplary services that we think provide significant value to screening companies. Some of these services we have brought you in the past include CBSV and ITRV, Dexter, the automated data retriever for criminal searches, a private label applicant tracking system that the CRA can sell to their clients, Vault Verify, competitor to the Work Number, the Background Warehouse for employment verifications, a job board for the industry, an employee assistance program, and of course our Better Vendor program. So we take great care and pride in recommending services to the industry, and we hope you can find value in this recommendation as well. Before we jump in, I have a quick question for you. So we're going to take a little poll here, and that is, have you added a new product or service to your business offering in the past 12 months? Simple yes or no. So if you would just click here and vote, then we'll get that summarized instantly through the magic of technology. And here are our results. So we've got 74% yes, saying they've added a new product or service to your business offering in the past 12 months. Well, good for you guys. I'm proud to see that. Sometimes we get the vision here that, you know, background screening companies are thinking strictly in terms of, you know, criminal credit, driving record, and employment verifications, and they don't come outside that box much. But I can see that obviously is changing. That's great. So for a quick roadmap of today's webinar, we will be talking about what is a candidate-driven reference, and we'll introduce Reflynk. And we'll also tell you how a background screening business can make money by using an automated reference check service. So what is a candidate-driven reference check? Well, to you guys and being CRAs, historically, when you think of selling reference checks, you think of the telephone. You get the order from your customer, you pick up the telephone, you call the reference, you leave a message, they call you back, they don't reach you because it's after hours, and you call them back, and you leave a message, and pretty soon you give up and tell your client you can't reach the person. Well, that's a service you can still sell. Like everything else today, technology is taking its place. So here's how it works. So the recruiter tells the job applicant via an email or a text that he or she is being considered for a position, and to click on a link to provide required references. That link then takes the candidate to a website where they enter the name, the email, and the text phone number for the references that they want to provide. The system then, the Reflynk system, automatically sends a request to the reference from the applicant with a note asking the reference to please click the link and take a few minutes to provide easy, confidential feedback on the applicant. And again, this is an email or a text coming directly from the applicant to the reference asking for their input. The system then summarizes the data in a graph format and sends the results to the recruiter for their use. This tool is used for employment references and for tenant references, and has even morphed into an exit interview capability. So you can see now how this is not your grandfather's reference check. You are probably aware that there are other automated reference check providers. So why are we recommending this type of tool to CRAs? And the answer is because Reflynk has developed a must-have product. Here's my logic. Number one, there is continuing market acceptance of everything technology. There is a rapid adoption of doing everything on your mobile device. Reflynk is much less expensive than the competitors. Reflynk earns a fatter margin for you, the CRA, with an extremely uncomplicated business model. Very simple. You buy it wholesale and sell it retail. A company in New Zealand that I just heard about a few weeks ago started 3 years ago, and they're now doing over $3 million in sales with the same type product. And this is in New Zealand, a little tiny country. Think what you could do in the USA. And again, texting capabilities in Reflynk are relatively new and are really a game changer in terms of technology. Text gets you more answers, better answers, and faster answers than you could ever do it by phone. So let's look at each of these in a little more depth. Again, acceptance of technology. I mean, that goes without saying. 10 years ago, the iPhone was introduced, and now, I mean, everybody lives on the iPhone. I'm driving to work this morning, and I saw 30 kids standing at a bus stop, and 45 of those 30 kids were on some kind of an iPhone. Some of them had two in their hand. I don't know what they do with two, but I mean, that's what everybody lives on today. Second of all is price. Historically, some of the competitors in this industry have sold this type of service, but they had very complicated pricing models, and their pricing was high, as much as $25, $35 for a single reference. Now with Reflynk, you now have a very inexpensive tool. The recruiter has a very inexpensive tool, and they can now, instead of using this after they've decided on which candidate they really want, they can use it very early in the recruiting process to narrow those candidates with their best references. As you know, the reality in today's labor market is such that the recruiter needs any tool they can find and use to help them quickly evaluate all the candidates they have and get them on board before some other employer grabs them. So if most of them will be using an applicant tracking system, and they may get 1,000 or 500 resumes in, the applicant tracking system typically will narrow those down to some prime targets. And if the recruiter can narrow that down to 10 and within 24 to 36 hours have those candidate references, and the candidate does all the work and have those references back to them, the recruiter can quickly look at the ranking on the references, the number ranking that they've received, and can target the primary candidate and get on the phone with that candidate and get them on board before their competition does. So surely they would spend, $70, $80, $60 to do a reference check on all their top candidates, 4, 5, 6 candidates, to get that applicant before someone else does. I mean, they're spending $500 or $600 or $800 for an ad on Monster or Career Builder, and to spend another few bucks to get that applicant hired by them, I don't think that's going to be an obstacle. Would they spend $250 or $350 to do that? Probably not, but $70 is just not a budget breaker. And remember, this cost to the recruiter is based on a candidate, not on per reference. So if the candidate is giving them 6 references, it's still the same fixed price as if they were giving 2 references or 12 references. One price per candidate. Your margins with Reflynk are set by you. You pay wholesale price. You sell it at retail, but typically your margins end up being 50 to 60% margins. And the more volume you do, the lower your costs will be from Reflynk. And very importantly, you have no labor cost if you don't do any work except bring the client. There's no integration. This doesn't have to integrate with your system at all. There's no billing on your part. Reflynk does all the billing. It pays you the difference between wholesale and retail. There's no work of any kind on your part whatsoever. It's all handled by the Reflynk system. You just bring the client to Reflynk, and they do the setup, and the technology does the rest. So in working with Reflynk over the past few months, what we're hearing from them is that customers are calling them, they're finding them, they're actively looking for this type of service. And they're finding Reflynk, and of course, in some cases, they're finding a competitor. So before your client goes ahead and calls Reflynk directly without your involvement, get involved. And once more about mobile technology, just think about this. I mean, we don't look at our personal emails every day. And if we get a phone call from someone, if it doesn't come up on a caller ID, we don't take that call because it's most likely it's a spam call, even on our cell phones. But if we get a text, we stop whatever we're doing and we look and see who it's from. And this really speeds the ease for the reference provider and speeds the results to the recruiter, making this tool ever more important and really a bargain when these recruiters are really under pressure to hire candidates. So look, I've worked with Reflynk folks for a few years now, developing this product and the pricing model to what we think you as a CRA will literally clamor for. Now, Amy is going to give you a demo of how the system works. You can post your questions in the question box and we will answer them at the end of the demo, time permitted. And also, please stick around to the end of the webinar when we will have an exclusive offer for you as a thank you for listening today. So here is I want to present here the demo, and it's going to be done by the very capable Amy Hurt, who is one of the technical specialists from Reflynk. Amy?
Thank you for that introduction, Bruce. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for joining us today on the webinar. Again, my name is Amy Hurt, and I am the technology specialist for Reflynk. And just to follow up with what Bruce was saying, I do have everyone's audio muted, but you'll have access to the Q&A box on your screen. This will allow you to type any question at any time, and then once we're finished with the demonstration, we'll have a chance to get those answered for you. So just to get started, so Reflynk is an automated candidate-driven software that formulates and completes reference reports. It will allow you to add your candidate's contact information into the system, and it will take the process from there. So it will actually reach out to your candidate, ask that they provide contact information for all of their references, and then it will contact each individual reference through email and text messaging and ask that they complete a survey. And then once all references have responded, Reflynk will immediately aggregate all of the results and put them into a report that you can download or you can print if you wish, and you'll have you'll see here in a second an option to view everything electronically on a graph. And just a side note, since Reflynk is a cloud-based software that allows for live status view, it allows your candidates and their references to be able to open their request from any device and complete it right then and there from the palm of their hand. And with all of this technology combined, it allows for completed reports within minutes. So what I want to do is start from what this will look like for your candidates and their references, and then we'll come back to what you see here, which is the dashboard. So the first thing that a client is going to do, they're going to come in here and they're going to click Add Candidate. Oops. So they're going to come into here, they're going to click Add Candidate, and we're just going to use some generic information here. And I'll use my email address so that you will see what the templates will look like and how the navigation of the survey will look. And you'll see that this is giving an option for text messaging. This is a required field. If you don't have a phone number here, you can just put a default generic number. But if you wish to send a phone number, you're going to click this authorization box to send the text message. This is just authorizing Reflynk that they have permission to do that. But you'll notice here the drop down. If I had input an area code for a different country here, it's going to default to that country code, just letting you know that it is sending a text message internationally, but there are no additional charges that will apply. The next thing that we're going to do is select a position type. And these are just some of the default position types that I selected. These are some of the most common that we see. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to select employment and save. Confirm Reflynk has permission to send that out. Now what's going to happen is, here's my email. we're going to have that email come right through. And actually what I've discovered is that the text message is actually quicker. So the second that I hit confirm, that text message goes immediately. There was a little bit of a time delay on my email. So here's an example of an email template. You'll start to notice that there is a theme. Everything is customizable. So this is a default here, but we can input any type of verbiage that you would like to put within these email templates or the text message templates. So Leonardo, as the candidate, is going to click Add References. And for the employment position, I'm asking him to provide me with one former supervisor and one peer. And again, we'll just put some default information in here. If for some reason Leonardo was unable to provide a reference, he can click Unable to Provide. He's going to be required to put a reason why he cannot provide that reference. And the second that he confirms, there's going to be an email that's going to go directly to the client, letting them know that Leonardo was unable to provide that reference, and this is why. So once I have my reference information, I have the option to email or text, or I can do both, and the same technology will apply for text messaging here. But these are required fields, one or the other, so I'm going to put my email address in here again so you can see what this will look like. Once I submit my references, that's also going to go instantly. And here's the email to Michelle. Again, customizable verbiage. When I click on this link as Michelle, I'm given two options. I can decline to be a reference, which same technology as what you saw for the candidate. It's going to ask me for a reason why, and that's going to go to the client, or I can take the survey. Here is an example of what a survey will look like. This first page here is just we're calling this character category, so we can input any type of category in here that you wish. And there are two types of questions we can do. We can do a scaled or Likert question, which is on a scale of 1 to 5. Or we can put a free answer text in here, which means they can input any type of information in here, and this can be as long or as short as they want. So we're going to go through here. The next section is going to be performance. And as you can see, if I forget to answer a question, it's not going to let me proceed. I'm going to click Next and finish this survey. Once the survey is finished, that's it. Now as Michelle, I can't go back and click that again. So Reflynk is smart enough to know when all actions that require action have been completed. So that's what that's going to look like for your candidates and the references. Back on Reflynk, I want to show you the dashboard. We'll go over the profiles for your candidates and we'll go through how to track the journey of a report. So the first thing you're going to see, this is what we call a profile. Here's Jane Doe. You can see that this is the candidate's name, the contact information for Jane, the position that Jane's applying for, the date that this was initiated. Over to the left, you're going to see a few more editing options. What I'm actually going to do is change my status here just to show you some examples. So we'll look at Leonardo, which is what we just did. The first option is this dark blue box. When I click on this, I have option to edit the contact information for my reference or for my candidate, and I can even force send the new invitation email, so I can ask Leonardo to start over if I want him to. I also have access to see his reference information. So here are his references. There's their name, their contact information. I don't have a cell phone number, but there's the relationship that they are to this candidate. And you'll see here, this is a live view of what the current status is of that report. So Michelle is done with the survey. Chris, we sent him an email. We're still waiting for him to respond. And this blue box here means that I can edit this information for Chris if I need to. So if there's a typo, or if I just want to add a phone number because he's not able to get to his email soon enough, I can do all of that here. I can save changes and force a new text message or email through. Also, I can add a new reference. So there's a lot of options here that our clients have for editing any of the reference information or the candidate information. Also back on the dashboard, there is an option to manually stop all notifications. So if for some reason I want to stop this report, I want to stop the notifications, I have that option to do with clicking this red X. That is because Reflynk will send a daily email and a daily text message to the reference and the candidate just saying, hey, we're still waiting on this response. We're still waiting for you to complete this request. Please do so at your earliest convenience. This option here is an archive because what you'll see here in a minute is because Reflynk is a cloud-based software, we cannot fully delete anything, but we can archive them from your filters just to kind of clean your filters out a little bit. So that is what the options are for the profile. What I want to show you next is the option for tracking the journey of a report. So the first thing that you'll see over here at the top right of your screen, these are the little tabs for the status. This first one here is new, and new is exactly what it says. It is when you have added a candidate to the system, but none of their references have clicked the link to start the survey yet. So here you can see I've got Josephine and Susan. Josephine's not supplied her references, and neither has Josephine or Susan, sorry. So if we go to the In Progress tab, this means that at least one reference has clicked the link to get started. So within the In Progress, this is how you're going to know. Here's just a quick view of where they're at in this report. But again, for Leonardo, when I come over here, Michelle is done. We're still waiting for Chris. Once all references have answered the survey, Reflynk is going to immediately close that report and aggregate all of the results. And it's going to go to a complete tab here. And here's Jane Doe where we first started. So once a report is completed, you have two options. This first option, this little blue eye here, if you want to view the results on kind of a quick view electronic graph, you can do so by clicking that little icon. What's going to happen is, there we go. Here's just a quick glance of Jane Doe. Here's her contact information. Here are the overall results according to each reference type. I can blow out this graph even more, and now I can see the results for each section of the survey. And then I can click Show Questions and see each individual question within that section of the survey. So that's great just to kind of see where their overall results are from a quick glance. The report that's going to give you more information is the PDF report. So this option here, if I was to click this and download the results, here's an example of what the PDF is going to look like. And obviously with the PDF, I can print this, I can save this, I can do what I want with this PDF report. But here you'll see I've got her name. And now I have her position that she's applying for, the date of this report, and I actually have, this is the name of my organization, which is just Video Tutorial. When I scroll down, now I have the information for each of her references. I have, again, her contact information, overall combined scores, and when I scroll down, here are the sections of the survey, and then each individual question after. So there's kind of a better example of what a final report would look like. It's really your preference on how you want to see those results. Back on the dashboard, you may notice that I skipped over the incomplete folder or file. This is a great section of Reflynk, and to me this is what I feel helps separate Reflynk. Let's say, for example, you have a candidate or a reference and they're unable to complete the request. They just absolutely refuse, or they don't get to it, or they forget. Something happens and all of the requirements for that report have not been met. So what's going to happen, Reflynk is going to see that that report's not complete, and it's going to put it to this incomplete folder. From here, our clients get to see why is this not complete? Why are the parameters not met within this report? Then they get to decide, do I want to put that back into in progress and complete it, or do I just want to close it? So the first thing that they're going to do is come over to see their reference information. And here I see that this report's incomplete because Tim finished it, but Bob only got to question 4 out of 14. So in this situation, I would probably ask Bob to start over. I would go back to candidate list. There's Samantha. I click this green arrow here, and Samantha is right back into in progress. And now Reflynk is going to pick that up, and it's going to say, okay, Samantha, you've got 2 more days. I'm going to start sending you your email reminders and your text message reminders, and I'm also going to let Bob know he needs to finish this survey. So that's kind of some options for how to control a report, but also how you get to see the tracking and the journey of a report. So what I want to do before I wrap this up, I want to show you kind of some options that are available to our clients. Because remember I said everything is customizable within Reflynk. It is all up to the clients. So the first thing that I want to show you, the clients have access to edit their reference relationships, their applicant positions, and their templates that are going out. So just kind of a quick example, here are some that I put together. These are just reference relationships that we could ask for. You can go to add relationship and create a whole new reference relationship. You also get to pick if this is going to be a phone-only interview, which we don't have a lot of those, but if for some reason you do not want that reference to supply a survey through the online option, then you can actually call them directly with a phone number that's provided. You also get to choose if this is a self-evaluation. Aside from the reference relationships, here are the applicant positions. These might look familiar. This is when I was adding a candidate. These were some of the options that were available. And these I've made these up based upon what seems to be really popular within Reflynk. You can see on this edit option, Reflynk has the capability to give it the position type any name that you wish that is customizable. You also get to choose what type of a reference relationship you'll ask that position for. So let's say I want to ask them to provide me with a teacher reference. I get to select what type of survey that teacher is going to answer. Then I get to say, you know what, I want that candidate to supply me with 3 teacher references, but as long as 2 of them answer, I'm okay that Reflynk just close out that report. I don't want to leave it hanging forever and wait for that 3rd reference. So that is an option also for our clients. Aside from that are the email and text messaging templates. Here's just a quick example. Here's the new email that you saw earlier. So our clients can come in here, they can make any adjustment that they want. We do provide a little cheat sheet up here so that you can customize this and ask Reflynk to put in information that is specific to your organization, to your parameters that you've set within Reflynk. And before I wrap up, I do want to point out that even though the options are available for our clients to edit, we do have an onboarding team that will come alongside any new client and set all these parameters up during the setup. We work to customize their templates, their surveys, and their position requirements. And we also offer assistance with making adjustments at any time during the year with no additional charge to the clients. So that conducts all that I have for this demonstration. I am going to turn this back over to Bruce.
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
So there you have it. Will this revolutionize the industry? No, I don't think it will, but it really is important for a CRA for lots of reasons. First of all, you have a cool new service to tell and sell to your existing clients. You have a cool new service to sell to those prospects whose screening business you have not been able to get. So, you know, the typical scenario for your salespeople when they call a prospect is the prospects, if you ever get a hold of them, tells you everything is fine. We love our background screening company we're currently using. We're currently integrated with them with the technology that you guys don't support. So what's your sales rep do? They make a note, hang up, and go on to the next one? of course. But with something like Reflynk, then you have another service that they can sell that you will not only make money on, but when they learn to love Reflynk, you actually may be able to come back later and maybe pick up their screening business. For you, the CRA, again, there's no labor, there's no integration, no customer service, no billing, no collections, no sweat. So the end user client signs up with Reflynk. You're the one that brought them to Reflynk. And the recruiter or the HR person, whoever's doing the recruiting, just goes to the Reflynk site and enters the applicant name in, and the whole process just takes place behind the scenes. Lastly, your clients and your prospects are really looking for a service like this. They need fast information about candidates so they can pick the right candidate and get them onboarded before some other employer does. So why not offer this yourself? So thanks for sticking around until this point. We'll get to the questions, and we have a couple minutes left for that. And but here's our exclusive offer through Berg Consulting Group. Normally with Reflynk, there's a $350 sign-up fee to cover all the costs of getting you educated and set up. But we've arranged for a limited time offer to bring this cost down to you to only $100. So if you're interested in proceeding, please call your sales representative, either Evan on extension 3 or Diana on extension 5, and they will we'll chat you up and get you in the right queue and get you started selling a great service like Reflynk, which when the recruiters get a hold of it are going to start using it more and more and generate some nice revenue for you. Amy, I'm going to hand this back to you now for some Q&A.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Bruce. It looks like we do have a couple questions that came in. Looks like the first one that we have, do you have a template survey of questions for tenant screening that we can see? We do actually have a default tenant screening survey within Reflynk. I apologize that I don't have it for this demonstration because I would have to log in as an administrative user, but I can definitely get that to you if you want to maybe contact Bruce directly afterwards and maybe with your contact information, and I will absolutely give you even a one-on-one demonstration if you want to see the whole process for tenant screening. I'll be happy to do that for you. The next question, what happens if candidate sends a link to an employer that outsources to clearinghouse? Will clearinghouse reply, how are fees paid? So at this time, we're looking into that, but we do not have a way to do any type of references through the workhouse, or through the work number or through clearinghouse. What Reflynk is for reference checking. If you want to use it for type of like employment verification, we do have one type of option that we can kind of work with you on there, but at this time we're still working on how to get that going through clearinghouse and the work number.
Yeah, and again, this is not for employment verifications, this is for references, personal and professional references.
The next question we have, how can we be sure that candidate is sending it to the employer and not just a friend who will pretend to be the candidate? We get that question a lot, actually. So you will have access to, like you saw in the demonstration, you'll have access to the phone number, to the email address. If there's any type of suspicion and you want to follow up on that, you have capability to do so. But also what we're working on is a way to confirm the IP address when somebody completes the survey. That is something that we're currently working on with our developers so that when those answers are received, you'll be able to tell that it came from an IP address so that you can make sure that you don't have one person answering the same survey or, two different surveys at the same time. Next question we have, I would like to see the tenant screening questionnaire as well. Okay, well, thank you. If you want to reach out to Bruce and we can schedule a one-on-one demonstration, I would be happy to also demonstrate that for you. We've actually seen a lot of the tenant screening coming through lately. We're getting a lot of those requests, so absolutely I'd be happy to show that to you. And it looks like, Okay, we do have a couple questions on chat. Is the email text request for reference sent from the candidate? If so, can the candidate see the reply? That's a great question. And actually, no, the candidate cannot see the reply. The only people that can see the reply are the clients. Once the report is completely finished, the client will have viewing rights to those responses. They can share that with the candidate if they want to, but the candidate will not have options to see that. Or if the candidate can reply. I'm sorry, I think I misread that. And again, no, they won't have an option to reply to that. Next question, is Reflynk integrated with any platforms? We are currently working on a couple integrations. So we have an open API and we are cloud-based, so we can integrate to any type of platform. So if you have specific questions on that, maybe get with Berg Consulting Group. We can kind of work through that, see if you have any suggestions or if there's something specific you're looking at. Last question that we have, at what point does the reference go to incomplete from in progress? That's a great question too. I think I did leave that out. So what happens, Reflynk has a default expiration date within the program. So the default is 10 days. So once Reflynk notices that there's been a report that's in progress for 10 days and we've sent all these notifications, it'll actually just send it to incomplete. Or if all reference responses have been received, if the candidate refuses to provide a reference, or if a reference refuses to be a reference, that'll also send it to the incomplete. And we can customize that expiration date. So if you don't want it hanging for 10 days, we can shorten that, or we can elongate it too. So. All right, Bruce, it looks like that's all oh, sorry, one more just came in. If employer is ordering other background checks, does this mean they need to do double entry, one to Reflynk and one on the other background checks? Oh, I see. Yes, currently, depending on your platform, currently Reflynk is a standalone. So once you order your background checks, then you would also need to log into Reflynk and order the reference checking report. All right, that's all I have, Bruce.
Well, thank you very, very much, Amy. You did a great job. And again, anybody has additional questions, you can ask us. And please let us know, those folks that were interested in the questions for the attendance screening, contact us or contact Amy and we'll provide that. So thank you very much. We're excited about this new service, and we hope you are too. And have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, Bruce. Bye.
Bye.